But you cannot call Caitlin Clark fans the dark side of the fandom. No, that wasn't the greatest or smartest idea in the world for you to have done. And it's clear. I will tell you this: when you look at what Scott covers, his proximity to the team, I've got to wonder. And this is speculation, but and I didn't think this. I didn't because I
The sports media landscape continues to evolve, particularly around coverage of professional basketball leagues. Recent commentary from established journalists has sparked significant debate within fan communities, especially regarding how supporters of certain players are characterized and discussed. A prominent writer covering the Indiana franchise recently published remarks that describe certain segments of the fan base as representing negative elements within sports culture. This characterization has generated substantial backlash from the very supporters who have driven increased viewership and engagement for the league. The controversy centers around language that portrayed passionate advocacy for a particular star player as problematic or troublesome. The established media's approach to covering this basketball league has drawn scrutiny, with some observers noting that only a select few journalists seem to provide coverage without apparent underlying motivations.
and I didn't think this. I didn't because I thought, look, surely the Indiana Fever understand the opportunity that they have gotten with Caitlin Clark, her fandom coming in, what it's doing to the league. They've got the opportunity to be America's team unless they fumble her entire situation. That's the key. If they fumble it, all bets are off. But I'm starting to wonder because this guy is so close to the team.
When respected writers begin using divisive language to describe fan enthusiasm, questions arise about the source of such perspectives and whether organizational attitudes might be influencing media narratives. The Indiana franchise finds itself in an unprecedented position within women's professional basketball. Their games consistently achieve the highest television ratings, resulting in nearly all contests being broadcast to national audiences. This exceptional status stems directly from the presence of their marquee rookie, whose college career generated massive followings that have translated to professional success. However, managing this newfound prominence presents challenges.
Because this guy is so close to the team. What are you hearing exactly? Question mark. Are the Indiana Fever, do they sit back and talk about Caitlin Clark fans being quote unquote dark? Because I got to tell you, you can hear and see a lot of wallets slam shut. Oh, League Pass? Click. Nah. No. Merch? No, I don't know what.
The organization possesses what many consider a generational opportunity to establish themselves as the premier destination for basketball fans across the country. The geographical location, situated in America's heartland and relatively close to the player's collegiate home, seems naturally aligned with her established supporter base. Yet concerns persist about whether team management fully comprehends the magnitude of their situation. The proximity between certain media figures and organizational decision makers raises questions about internal attitudes toward the fan base that has generated unprecedented interest and revenue streams. Professional sports naturally attract passionate commentary, and basketball followers tend to express strong opinions about player performance, coaching decisions, and team management.
No, I don't know what to tell you. I had to buy some new Caitlin Clark gear when they fumble her and she ends up on a different team. And I've said, I thought the Indiana Fever were the best place for her. Midwest team, not far from Iowa. I think a lot of people, like, I looked forward to driving to Indiana, okay? I think that area aligns with her fan base. But I wonder if the Indiana Fever understand that.
Criticism of coaching staff represents standard practice across all major sports leagues. Fans regularly call for changes when they perceive underperformance or strategic mistakes, regardless of win-loss records. The notion that such criticism constitutes negativity or toxicity fundamentally misunderstands sports culture. Supporters invest emotionally and financially in their teams, creating natural expectations for excellence. When fans observe their favorite players struggling within particular systems or question strategic decisions, vocal feedback becomes inevitable.
And that. So And the other thing is, and we're gonna take a look at this because Scott Agnes, this Indiana Fever writer, is getting obliterated, and rightfully so. This was an ignorant comment that I can't help but now wonder out loud, did this seep from the bowels of the management and the front office of the Indiana Fever? Surely.
Current offensive schemes have drawn particular scrutiny from observers who believe the system doesn't maximize the strengths of the team's primary attraction. Some analysts suggest previous coaching approaches better utilize the star player's unique abilities, leading to more fluid and effective gameplay. These tactical discussions represent legitimate basketball analysis rather than problematic behavior. Performance evaluations of other roster members have also generated debate. Without the presence of their injured superstar, certain players have appeared less effective, while others have elevated their games during extended opportunities.
Management and the front office of the Indiana Fever. Surely they are not this dumb. I know a lot of fans already believe they are, by the way. I've been trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, but now I do have to wonder. I do have to absolutely wonder right here. Let's just come down here. Nothing about this Fever team is typical. They are the exception to the rule. All of their games are the most watched on TV, and that's why 42.
Such observations reflect standard sports analysis rather than inappropriate criticism. The challenge facing sports media involves distinguishing between legitimate fan passion and genuinely problematic behavior. Traditional basketball supporters, many with decades of viewing experience, reject suggestions that their investment in particular players or teams somehow disqualifies their basketball knowledge or legitimacy as fans. Historical precedent demonstrates that transcendent athletes consistently attract new audiences to their respective sports. Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and Larry Bird all generated similar phenomena during their careers, bringing casual observers into dedicated fandoms.
On TV, and that's why 42 of their 45 games, including the Cup final, are available to a national audience. Why do you think that is, Scott? It's because people have become invested in this team because of Caitlin Clark. Let's not get confused. And people are trying, and I'm going to tell you, it's been a tough watch since Caitlin's been gone. It's been a tough watch. All right? I mean, the drama around the league is more.
This pattern represents positive growth for any league rather than concerning development. The current situation reflects broader tensions within sports media regarding access, independence, and authentic coverage. Writers who maintain close relationships with organizations may face pressure to moderate criticism or frame narratives in ways that protect those relationships. This dynamic potentially compromises journalistic integrity and objective reporting. Media credentials create complex dynamics between journalists and the subjects they cover.
Interesting than trying to watch this team at times. Brittany Griner acting like an idiot for the last 3 years. Natasha Cloud and all her politics crap. Dildo Gate. I mean, come on. They are America's team. Well, they got the opportunity to be America's team. If the front office and management doesn't mess all of this up.
Access to exclusive content, interviews, and organizational information can influence coverage decisions. Writers may soften criticism or avoid controversial topics to maintain their privileged positions within team hierarchies. The entertainment industry provides similar examples where critics modify reviews to preserve relationships with studios and production companies. Positive coverage ensures continued access to premieres, interviews, and exclusive content, creating inherent conflicts of interest that can compromise honest evaluation. Professional basketball faces a critical moment regarding fan engagement and media relations.
Aggregating everything. There's half my time be spent on researching, so shout out to all of you guys, because you guys are carrying not only me, you're carrying all of the people that make videos on these topics. But yeah, so this is the clip right here that we have seen. So it is Sophie talking to Caitlin Clark. And look, Sophie's covering her mouth, so no one's lip reading. Caitlin Clark knows when she knows when she's not covering her mouth, she kind of wants somebody to see it. So
The league has experienced unprecedented growth in viewership and commercial interest, driven largely by individual player popularity rather than traditional team loyalties. Managing this transition requires understanding that passionate support naturally includes critical evaluation of performance and decision-making. Organizations that embrace this reality while maintaining professional standards will likely benefit from sustained fan investment. Those that characterize legitimate criticism as problematic risk alienating the very supporters who have generated their current success and financial opportunities. The intersection of traditional sports media, social media commentary, and passionate fan bases creates complex dynamics that require careful navigation.
what I got is, yep. I don't know what she said. They're saying true that. I don't know if she said true that, but it does sound like she hates me at the end. It does look like that. It does look like that. That's definitely not true that.
Dismissing engaged supporters as negative influences fundamentally misunderstands the relationship between athletes, teams, and their audiences in contemporary sports culture. Moving forward, the challenge involves fostering environments where constructive criticism coexists with supportive enthusiasm, while media coverage maintains independence and objectivity regardless of organizational access or relationships. The stakes remain high for all parties involved in this evolving sports landscape. Recent footage has emerged showing an interaction between Caitlin Clark and Sophie, sparking widespread discussion about what was actually communicated during their conversation. The clip shows Sophie deliberately covering her mouth while speaking to Clark, making lip-reading attempts challenging for observers.
That's definitely not true that. She hates me. It very much seems like that. Anyone know what was happening the minute that happened? Probably about Dijonay or the refs. It could vary. I know, trust me. Yeah, I know, trust me. Not she hates me. Either way, true enough, trust me. Like, it could have been. It does seem like she hates me. Either way.
Various interpretations have surfaced regarding the exchange, with many viewers attempting to decode the conversation. Some believe they can make out phrases suggesting animosity, while others argue the discussion likely centered on different topics entirely. The ambiguity of the situation has led to numerous theories about the actual content of their dialogue. Multiple basketball analysts and fans have proposed different explanations for what transpired. Some suggest the conversation involved complaints about officiating, which would align with ongoing tensions between Clark and referees throughout various games.
It does seem like she hates me. Either way, I don't necessarily think that any of this matters because let's be real. Like, I would not be surprised if this is a situation where she said trust me or is complaining about the refs. They could well said he hates me about a referee. I think the referees hate Caitlin Clark. I think they hate Caitlin Clark. I think a lot of them do. I think there are a lot of players that could hate Caitlin Clark. Like, we know Dijonay Carrington hates Caitlin Clark. Like, do we not remember Dijonay Carrington?
Others speculate it concerns specific players or game-related frustrations. The relationship between Clark and certain WNBA players has been a subject of ongoing discussion. DJ Carrington represents one example of apparent tension stemming from previous confrontations during games. Their history includes incidents where Carrington celebrated aggressively after scoring, only to have Clark respond with her own three-pointer without any celebration, ultimately leading to her team's victory. Carrington's basketball abilities have drawn criticism from some observers who question her focus and effectiveness on court.
Do we not remember Dijonay Carrington? Literally, Dijonay Carrington hit a three-point shot. Do we not remember last year? Dijonay Carrington hit a three-point shot in the middle of a game and then tried to chase around Caitlin Clark like this. And then Caitlin Clark came and hit a three in her face the next possession. Didn't celebrate at all, and the Fever won the game. Dijonay Carrington, like, she's the most... She aura farms more than she plays basketball. Like, she sucks at basketball. Like, we got to be honest here when it comes to Dijonay. She legitimately stinks at basketball. She's not a good basketball player. Like, everybody talks of this big game, but she's not a good basketball player.
Despite generating attention through social media presence, her actual basketball performance has faced scrutiny from those who believe her skills don't match her promotional efforts. Regarding potential conflicts with other players like Paige Bueckers, the situation appears more nuanced. While some observers point to their interaction during the game in question, historical evidence suggests a more neutral relationship. Both players have consistently spoken respectfully about each other in media appearances, though they've made clear they aren't particularly close friends. Their connection traces back to Team USA youth basketball programs, where different friendship groups naturally formed among the talented players.
This big game, but she's not a good basketball player. And look, at the end of the day, people are lip reading when it comes to Caitlin Clark and trying to decipher what she said. People are saying we all know who. It could be Dejanay. A lot of people are saying it could be Paige because she was guarding Paige. Like, I don't think there's any resentment between Caitlin Clark and Paige. They've spoken nothing, absolutely nothing but positively towards each other. And like, I don't think they're friends, but like, I don't think they're friends that talk to each other, but they're friends in a way of like,
Clark developed closer relationships with players like Cameron Brink, while Bueckers aligned with different teammates, including Hailey Van Lith. This dynamic reflects typical team experiences where players form various social circles within larger groups. The nature of their current relationship appears cordial but distant, the type where former teammates acknowledge each other positively but don't maintain regular contact. Both have given similar responses when asked about their connection, describing mutual respect without claiming friendship. Attempts to break down Clark's performance or mental state seem unlikely to succeed, given her demonstrated resilience throughout her career.
but they're friends in a way of like, oh, you were on my basketball team when we were a kid. If we see each other, we'll say hi and we'll chat a little bit. Like, we know, like, back in the day with those Team USA teams, the friendship groups were, it was like Paige, AZ, I think was Hailey Van Lith kind of in that friend group, and then like Cameron Brink and Caitlin were really good friends from that. Like Cameron Brink and Caitlin were.
If psychological pressure tactics were going to affect her game significantly, such impacts would likely have manifested earlier, given the intense scrutiny she's faced. The conversation in question could involve numerous mundane topics rather than dramatic revelations. Sophie might have been discussing referee communications, foul calling patterns, or bench behavior guidelines that officials sometimes relay through teammates. Such exchanges are common in professional basketball. Referee relationships with Clark have indeed shown signs of tension throughout various games, making this a plausible explanation for any frustrated commentary.
Friends from that, like Cam Brink and Caitlin were best friends in that, on those teams. So it's like, and anyone who's been on any teams like that, they know that, like, where it's a collection of talent. Like, there were lads, like, as someone who's played on a national team, like, we knew who our friend groups were within our team. Like there were guys that were on my national team that I don't get on, like, don't particularly get on with. But like, if I see them now, I'll chat to them, and it's probably the same way that their relationship is. I don't think they dislike each other, but they weren't. I don't think they were friends.
Officials' treatment of her playstyle and reactions has generated discussion among basketball observers who notice inconsistent calling patterns. The speculation surrounding this brief interaction reflects broader narratives about relationships within women's professional basketball. While some players may indeed harbor negative feelings toward Clark, others maintain professional respect despite not being personal friends. Player dynamics in professional sports naturally involve varying degrees of friendship, rivalry, and indifference. Not every interaction carries deep meaning, and athletes regularly have conversations about game situations, officiating concerns, or tactical adjustments that observers might misinterpret.